He's like, you're one of my best friends in here, man. Like, I love you so much. And Jeremiah gave nothing back, and I loved it. He wasn't like, I love you too. He wasn't like, you're one of my best friends either. Because he was like, fuck this. This is a betrayal. He was dead right. It was such a betrayal. So I felt like that was the thing I wanted to protest. And then the last thing was related to that was when Nick said, well, we have to leave everything. The past is the past. And there's a lot of opportunity here. Meaning him having Andreina. That's all that can mean. He said that after Jeremiah was kicked out. I was like, gross. He's so quick to move on. He's like all over it, which is why I felt like a lot of it was to get Jeremiah out so he could have Andreina, because then he was so focused on the opportunity after he left. There's my fall.
Yeah. No, that was excellent. I think
Nicholas.
you nailed it. Yeah, Nick.
Nick, come on.
Nick. Welcome to Reality Test.
What? I'm Dr. Ray. Wait, why say that? I'm giving you your line.
I'm Dr. Ray.
And I'm Dr. Kay.
Whoa.
It's trippy when we're in person together.
I was like,
You're like, what is it? You're looking at me like, okay, and yes.
And I'm like, didn't I
and then
do
I
it?
stole your line.
No, I'm like, wait, you're not Dr. Ray. And I'm like, oh, wait, that was my line. Wow. Are we keeping this?
I don't know. I feel like we could keep part of it. It was kind of fun.
Something.
Yeah. There's a lot of energy here. We're also just really excited because we're in person for the third time.
It's so exciting.
For the third time. I love it so much.
It's great.
It is. It's really nice. And there's so much like combining of worlds happening. You know, it's fun because I always see this setting when we're doing this, but I don't get to see you. And now you get to see my setting when we do this.
I love it. And Dr. K's house is absolutely beautiful. It is like the quintessential New England, like cottage kind of vibes. And so it's giving me very nice and warm feels.
Cozy, comfy.
Very cozy, comfy. Yes.
Love that. Love to have you here.
Yay.
That's fun. And it's a beautiful day. It's nice. We have these, windows, like you were saying, natural light makes it much better mood lighting, really.
I don't think I realized how many windows there were. Yeah. And like, that's just lovely.
It's necessary. Good for you.
Yeah.
It's good for you.
Yes.
It is much more like mood uplifting. I had an office one year during my training that was an old closet.
Oh, hell
and it was awful. No windows, no like airflow. It just like was so depressing. It's awful. You need light.
One of my friends had that on internship. We fucking pick straws. So I'm the optics. I'm the only white woman at this internship. I get the fucking big office with windows. And I'm like, okay, I can't be fragile about this.
Right. You can't be like, no, I can't take it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I had the best office by far. And my friend was in a fucking closet. And she was so I'm like, that is a tough lot in life.
So brutal. I'm glad you like drew straws. So that was like the most even way to do it.
But still, I'm like, tough. Fucking course. I'm like, don't give me the biggest straw. And I'm like, that's how these things go.
Great. It must be in just this situation right here.
Yep.
Such a unique one. Oh, that's tough. Yeah, that is tough. Oh, man. So sometimes, they're pretty brutal to us when we're in training. They just put us in a closet. It's like Harry Potter vibes.
I was like, what the? It really was. And like, it makes, I think when you're a trainee already, your status is like not as,
recognized.
Right.
Low on the pole. You know what? I think low on the totem pole is appropriationist, right?
I
feel like it's a native concept of having totem poles. Yeah. And I think that's inappropriate for us to use it. So I'm not going to say low on the totem pole. I'll say like low in the hierarchy.
Yes. And so it's like a reminder of your status just in the interaction of how, and it's also not, when you're a therapist, it is not fun to be that close to a client. I don't like it. Yeah. And there are certain clients where I'm like, nope. Yeah. we need more.
Go to the two corners of the room, get as far apart as you can. Yes. Yeah. The tightness of the rooms is brutal. And then just like the closeness of it feels very, I guess it's womb-like in some ways, but it feels like a little claustrophobic sometimes. It's rude. And that was at a VA where already the hierarchy is so established. Right. It's like I don't really need an extra level of reminder. No. I'll go back to my closet now. Bye.
Goodbye. See you later.
See you at the next talk. Oof. But yeah, it's fine. I liked my clients there.
That's great.
Yeah. I had a 94-year-old woman veteran who's just the sweetest baby angel. Aww. Yeah, it was really nice. So there are positive things. I have positive memories as well, not just the closet.
Yes.
We're rambling. So that's my check-in. I'm going to use that as my check-in. These are things, this is my, the like free association. That was my check-in. My check-in was my free association with general things we're talking about.
Yes, and my check-in is getting to go to Dr. K's house. It's an absolute delight.
We're going to play lawn games. Yeah.
We're going to play lawn games. We're drinking champagne. We're having a grand old time. Cheers. And we get to talk to you all about reality TV, which is always fun.
We couldn't even help talking about it on our own, too, because it's good stuff happening.
Oh, my God, y'all.
Let's get the fuck started. I'm excited.
Yay.
There were so many things I protested. I was like, I don't even know really where to start. There's just so much.
Cannot wait.
For those who do not know, we're talking about Love Island. which would we? Also, we are therapists, but we're not your therapists. Nope. I forgot this last episode, I just realized. We're also not the therapist of these folks. Nope. We are making assumptions sometimes, or like playing with ideas that are psychological, but we of course cannot diagnose them without doing formal assessment. So we're just thinking about things in an open, general way, and invite you to do that with us in a non-judgmental way as much as possible. So we are talking about Love Island today, and we're using our award system. So that means we have 8 awards, things like Protest, This Mess. They all have a test somewhere in their name because we are reality test after all. Mm-hmm. So first award, what mess did you protest? Because Protest This Mess is the award for meanest, saddest, drunkest, most obnoxious, etc. moment. Or castmate.
Most obnoxious for me was, so Jeremiah getting voted off. As we discussed, the internet has had its feelings about this. Mm-hmm. I agree with the feelings. I think it was a petty move. Mm-hmm. I think that they are being a little petty. What bothered me in particular was when Taylor said it was nothing personal. I'm like, you fucking lie. Yeah, it was so very personal. It could not have been more personal.
Such a betrayal.
Y'all decided you didn't like him or didn't like the way he was moving. And you know what I think happened actually? I think they saw that America voted to keep Huda.
Yes.
And they are concerned about how they're coming off. So they were like, oh, America's siding with Huda and must think Jeremiah is the bad guy. And
right, they're going with her. Okay, see, that's awesome. I love that take, because the other take, and what I thought you were going to say, is the reverse of that too, which is where they sort of saved Jeremiah from Huda. They like put him with someone else and sort of seemed to save him from Huda in that move, like when they put him with Iris or whatever. And so I could see them also being like, oh no, he's like loved by America and a threat.
Oh.
You know, like Ace could. Because Ace clearly is like, what can I get rid of in terms of threats? Yeah.
And he's a good-looking dude.
And Jeremiah's tall and, good-looking and also, like, clearly connecting quickly. And I think that's something where Ace is not like that, really. And so that would make it a threat, because America loves it when there's a couple that sort of, like, does the thing and sticks it out. So he calls him, like, gaming, even though I think he just is quick to attach. And he's just, I don't know.
I think he is quick to attach. Yeah. I think it was a little quick. Granted, I think
him and Huda was quick. Yeah,
it was... but I do think they saw, Huda got saved. Yeah. Jeremiah got put in the bottom 3. Optics-wise.
Yeah.
This will make us look good.
Yeah. Then they took the opportunity to get him out. Exactly. Yeah. That's a good point, because that was that very fire pit. Because the fire pit before that was the one where he got saved from Huda by being put with Iris, and it seemed like America loved him. Because that seemed like that was the switch with them when they started talking shit about him all the time. Like they were watching
jealous.
Him like, yeah. And like Nick was so clearly jealous about Andreina, like the way that he looked at Jeremiah about that. I just was like, you have beautiful Sierra. Like, what are you doing?
Delightful,
like, back off. Yeah.
Emotionally intelligent.
Oh my gosh.
Lovely.
Amazing. Mature.
I love present. You, Sierra.
Oh my
I have
God,
thoughts about Nick and Alondria that might make it seem like I don't love you, Sierra, but I do.
Preview.
Just so you know. I love you.
Well, I love her with Elon.
Yeah,
they're the same pace. Yeah,
they work good.
He's also emotionally intelligent.
Yeah,
I really like the way he's like able to talk about relationships. He's like meta communicates in a way that I think Nick really stumbles. Like he tries, but he doesn't land it. When he had like the conversation they had about staying open, he just really wasn't meeting her emotionally. Like he really was in his own world. And I think Elon is very able to be like, here we are. Let's talk about it more explicitly in a beautiful way. She needs it.
And he recognizes, I think, that she's a bad bitch.
She's a bad bitch.
Like, and he's seen the way she's like been in the villa, and she's just a delight. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like no notes.
True delight she is. And I love it. And very sexy too. Like the thing with the when they were competing and she just like leveled up that game. Like, oh my God, amazing. Good for her.
She rocks.
She does. I love her so much. And I want to see her continue to do beautiful things for herself, like take care of herself first and foremost. I feel like I was about to say something about the way that she was with Elon, or maybe Elon. I'm bummed that she's trying to like privilege the thing with Nick.
I know.
Because I also, for your point too, that he seems great with Alondria. Like I want her to move on and have Elon and not worry about it and just be happy with.
I agree.
But she is attached. She attached as well. Yeah.
Which fair enough. They've spent a lot of time together. But I think that voice in her head that's like, is there a deeper connection elsewhere?
Yeah. I don't want to betray. Right. About Elon, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, should I keep pursuing this? Or they really switched up Casa this year. This is a whole other conversation. We've done one award, half of award, but they really switched up Casa in a big way. So anybody who doesn't watch Love Island or didn't see the season, Casa Amor is where half of the cast of one gender goes away to an additional little villa called Casa Amor, and then they like meet other people, like 5 new guys here and 5 new girls for the old OG men. And so then they like get to mingle with new people. Historically, they just like mingled with them and then they decide if they want to bring someone back with them to the main villa. This year, they were forced to couple up. So they had to. I loved it.
Because I think the women...
Oh, they always have a hard time.
Yeah, because they care more about people, which is great.
And they don't want to betray their honey or whatever. Whereas the men just like dig right in. They're like, I'm given permission. I have a question for you. One is that the question I have about it is, haven't they always said you're single again? Like, I feel like they've always said that. They're sort of like, so think of yourself as single. Like, because I remember people using that. Like, they're always like, well, we're single now. Like, even though they knew they weren't. Like, they were sort of like, well, we're like.
I can't remember.
I know. I feel like I have to go back.
Sense.
I felt like that part wasn't new, but they acted like it was. So then I was like, well, maybe I'm wrong. But I just remember them relying on that a lot, being like, well, we're technically single, even though like everyone knew that that's not really true. So maybe what was new is that they made it really explicit. They're like, stop it right now. You are definitely single. You're recoupling.
This is a whole new villa. Yeah.
Recoupling makes it different in terms of being single.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah, right?
I think the single thing probably was true. I don't remember it, but it sounds right.
Yeah, I feel like it was such a dynamic. And it kind of had to be, because otherwise you are in a couple. Like, well, how would you mingle with new people, especially the women? That might have been part of why it was hard if they didn't do it, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, Casa.
Oh,
so big days. These are big days. And we should say that this was episode 18 to today, which I don't know, 20 something. Yeah. Episode 20 something. It's been 5 days or something. So I love that. My protest this mess was Nick wanting Jeremiah out. I felt like he wanted him out, including because he wanted Andreina to himself. And I felt like that was like, he was so clearly like into Andreina and didn't want to like compete. And if you looked at all the other women, like if they went, the man would have been alone. Whereas if Jeremiah went, or like opposite, if for any of the other men that were vulnerable, if they went, that woman that they're with would be alone and have no one else. Whereas if Jeremiah went, Andreina could have Nick. So it's like the way that pairings were. Yeah, it felt very self-serving in that way.
Nick.
But also Ace, of course, had been like against Jeremiah for a while. They all like would sit there talking shit about him while he's connecting with people. So brutal.
Mean.
I loved that because at first Jeremiah didn't notice this was happening. The like mean guy click, and then he started noticing it, and I was like, good for you. Like he was saying things. He's like, yeah, I only have Austin and Andreina on my side. Like being really clear that those other guys are not embracing him anymore. And he thought Nick was his best friend. He had Huda tell Nick about being a mom because he wanted to be able to talk to Nick about it because he thought Nick was his best friend. So then Nick, what I was saying I want to protest is after doing that, getting Jeremiah out, he's total fake ass asshole and saying goodbye. He's like, you're one of my best friends in here, man. Like, I love you so much. And Jeremiah gave nothing back, and I loved it. He wasn't like, I love you too. He wasn't like, you're one of my best friends either, because he was like, fuck this is a betrayal. He was dead right. It was such a betrayal. So I felt like that was the thing I wanted to protest. And then the last thing was related to that was when Nick said, well, we have to leave everything. The past is the past, and there's a lot of opportunity here. Meaning him having Andreina. That's all that could mean. He said that after Jeremiah was kicked out. I was like, gross. He's so quick to move on. He's like all over it, which is why I felt like a lot of it was to get Jeremiah out so he could have Andreina, because then he was so focused on the opportunity after he left. There's my fall.
Yeah. No, that was excellent. I think
Nicholas.
You nailed it. Yeah, Nick.
Nick, come on.
Nick, you only along with Alandria, because damn.
Yeah, he needs her, like, he needs to learn from her. I feel like she would really give him some, like, life growth.
And I think he wants to learn from her in a way that I'm like,
yeah, get it.
So we like it.
It's a good side of him.
Yes, we love to see it. So who was doing the mostest? I mean, lots of people were doing a lot of things, but yeah, who was doing the mostest? Who was the most cringe or embarrassing for you this week?
I couldn't remember his name at first, so I said the guy with Iris, question mark. His name is Zach, but he's the other Zach, not the British Asian model. Yeah. So he is so fucking vapid, and I hate to use that word, but he's so conceited and vapid. I had the hardest time watching him with Iris.
The one with the nose ring?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he's like cute and like, you know, has potential, but like, oh my God. Awkward. So when they were talking, they were talking about traveling, and he's like, where's your next spot? And she goes, Australia. And he goes, really? And she's like, yeah, I feel like it'd be really cool. He's like, Australia's great. And he like kind of smirks because he's excited to be like, and by saying like Australia's great, it's clear to her now that he's been there. And so then she goes, have you been there? He's like, of course. What? What?
What do you mean, of course?
What the fuck? Australia is like the opposite side of the earth, sir. So like anyone would not guess that, actually, that you'd been there. That's like one of the few places no one would be like, oh, you've gone across the world to that. You know? It just felt so conceited. I was like, gross. Don't like
awkward.
This. So awkward.
It's a shame because he's kind of cute, but
he is cute.
Weird.
He is cute. But yeah, I just can't. I think he's still young. You know what I mean? I feel like he's still learning how to like actually own himself and his looks too. Like he sort of like needs this extra thing to be like, look how cool. And he's not like fun to talk to. It's not even just fun. He's like not interesting to talk to.
Which is a shame.
It's a shame.
That's probably hard when you're that attractive and then not that.
Well, that's the thing is like a lot of people, because they're attractive enough, they don't have to learn how to like engage people in other ways, right? They get things because they're attractive just on their own.
Tough hang.
Yeah, that's a theory. I don't know that that's true, but it seems to be true.
They call it pretty privilege, the youngsters.
Yes.
So I think it's a thing.
Yes. And I think there is beauty privilege in terms of like a lot of things like getting away without a ticket or like, you know, there's certain things I think beauty privilege really shows up in a big way. My husband and I talk about it a lot and sort of thinking about how that comes into play. And it's similar to white privilege too in a lot of ways in the way that it can help you get certain things that you wouldn't otherwise. But that is a good point about beauty privilege. That's an opposite thing. That's a negative thing. Is that like then with the beauty privilege, you might not learn how to, or pretty privilege, you might not learn how to engage in other ways. Or like, I think people who like a sense of humor often too is not there. You know, I feel like that they don't need to. But then there's beautiful people that are super funny and super engaging. So it's not like you have to do that. But just in some cases, I feel like they haven't had to learn how to like be really like in a good co-regulated relationship.
And then people might be looking for them to just be pretty, which is unfair.
They also don't expect more from them, so they don't have to learn how to do more either. Great point.
It's tough in these streets.
Yeah, there are downsides to privilege sometimes.
Yes, so indeed.
Tell me what your mosTEST was. Like who did the mosTEST?
Do not remember, but I will. I will now. Cringe. TJ. Giving low kissing grades to all of the women. What the fuck is wrong with you?
That's so weird. Why?
So I was watching him kiss. Yeah, he is clearly not a good kisser.
Right. So he has a weird expectation then. He like wants a thing that they were not giving because it's a weird thing he wants.
Yeah, because he's not a good relational kisser or whatever. But I was like, fuck you. And I loved that Ariana was like building up the girls and was like, what is wrong with this guy?
Yeah.
Like,
what up?
Yeah, it was amazing. I'm not a fan. I think a lot of people are feeling that way after this week, but it's just, he just doesn't have a lot of personality, does he?
No, it's another person relying on his looks, I think.
Yeah.
Like Iris called him Leonardo DiCaprio or something. Like I feel like he relies a little bit on it. And he's definitely really privileged. Like there's a lot of that. You can feel
like. And then he called out the Calabasas person, and then she was like, "I'm not that privileged." And I'm like, "Bitch, you are."
Compared to what?
I think you are, and I think he is too.
Yes,
I think that was a game sees game moment.
Exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, I'm not, and I don't mind people having privilege. I have privilege, whatever. People have privilege. I think it's just the way he like
doesn't own it.
He's just not. He's not doing it for me.
No, yeah. He just like walks with that air without like acknowledging like I come from a lot of privilege and like so I'm like looking for somebody that wants to like figure this life out with me and like benefit from it, but like also be able to challenge it or whatever. Like there's a whole way he could talk about it, wrap it in, and not look like such an asshole. Like there's just a way he just like holds the air of it without. And then doesn't seem open to like someone really affecting him.
Yeah,
he did a little bit with Iris. There was like a moment of it when they were first together, but like now that they're not together anymore, I haven't seen anything like that from him since. Even her asking him, the other girl that was like, "You gave me a 2, or like you rated me low," and he was like, "Oh," and he's like trying to fix it because he wanted to stay. He did not do a good job fixing it.
He didn't even say I'm sorry.
No, exactly.
If he said I'm sorry, I was being a dick. That wasn't cool.
I was rating based on like something else. I was worried that Iris was there, and I was trying to rate low because I thought Iris was going to come along, and I didn't want to give everyone high numbers. He never gave any explanation.
No, he was just like his personality is like fucking sandpaper to me. It's just not. It's not working. It's grating. It's boring. It's not working.
That's hilarious.
Too much work, not a lot of output.
Yes, there's not a whole lot of output. No,
it's not it for me. Sorry, TJ. I'm sure you're a well-rounded human. Just what I'm seeing on
becoming more well-rounded as time goes by. He'll learn more from watching this too.
I hope so.
I feel like there are moments straight to camera that I see him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like only. Anytime he's talking to other people, I'm like, I'm not here for it. But he's talking straight to camera. There are moments where I'm like, okay, I see what's happening with you. And like, there are moments that are endearing. They're brief and they're like far apart. But when they happen, I'm like, okay, there's TJ. But like most of the time, it's like his false self is out and about mostly. And so his true self sometimes pops in for a second on the straight to camera. But I really don't see his true self. I think there was a couple moments. So that's where I guess it is with Iris. Is I felt like he was his true self a little bit in some of their like charming play or whatever.
Yeah, he's not the most playful, but he can get a little playful.
He was actually really funny with Huda.
Oh, yeah, they were kind of having fun together.
I was like, okay.
But then he was like, you know what? It was nice of him to be like, I'm not interested.
I loved it. I thought that was great. He just like straight up, he's like, I just want you to know, because she pulled him again.
Yeah.
And she had asked him to pull her, and he didn't. And then she pulled him again.
TJ.
Yeah, so that you could tell her that. Well, because I think it was sending a sign, which I think is fair. But then she pulled him again, so he told her directly. But yeah, the first time they talked, I noticed he was way more snarky, sassy, but I liked it. Like, it wasn't mean. And so I felt like it's because he felt more power with Huda than anyone else, because he wasn't trying to get with her.
Because he had seen the show and seen, that sucks for her.
Which, like, what a dynamic that Love Island offers, that people live have seen the show and then enter into the show having seen what has just happened.
And then they're probably all looking for cues on how they're being perceived from these new people. I sure would be.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And then sometimes you get asked straight out, too. And then, like, I remember Aaron once asked if they knew they were having sex, like, if the public knew, and they're like, yeah, we get what the shower thing is. Like, he was like, oh, fuck. Like, yeah, they've definitely, there's like some, so I think that's just, what a cool thing that Love Island offers. It's such a unique thing. And yeah, people get a little bit of feedback that way, but also people come in with preconceptions based on producers, because producers are deciding what we're seeing. So like, it's the edit, and then that's shitty for Huda, because she gets, if she did have a bad edit, then that's what people are seeing when they come in.
And I think she's getting the redemption arc edit, because even Ariana was like, I hope she gets her redemption arc. I'm like, yep, that's what they're doing.
Totally. And give her that. And she's,
she should get that.
She deserves it. I feel like that's the main thing a lot of reality TV shows do. They like do the rise and fall, like I've noticed that a lot with a lot of the housewives shows, that like someone has a terrible season, the next season it's up. Like they do that a lot, like a Psy on New York, Real Housewives of New York. Like they do a Brynn, who had a great season, now bad one. Yeah. So I feel like that's a big part of their game, kind of. Or like, what's the word? Marketing or whatever. It's not that. It's like production, right? It's part of how they produce.
Producer antics.
It's how they produce. It's producer antics. Yes. And I don't, I kind of get it. But like the total up and total down isn't realistic. Like we all have ups and downs same day. Yeah, same time. We all have goods and bad parts. So I wish they were more sort of whole object about it. I think they kind of were. And now I say that, I think they kind of were with Brynn. Like I felt like there were moments where like you could connect with her still.
If you were looking for it.
You're right.
If you weren't.
If you're not trauma sensitive, you wouldn't.
Yeah, you'd be like, fuck
villainize it. Yeah, she was totally villainized. You're right. Yeah, that's such a great point. I bet there are moments where I feel like I'm more whole object about it, even though the production isn't. Like, I bet we are thinking about how, like, we can have more empathy for people that you can tell are actually struggling, even though it looks targeted at other people. Look, it's just like, it's just tangentially around.
Sorry, guys. We don't do this in person that much. We're
exactly.
Just like,
vibing about this content. And also, like, that's those are, like, dynamics that are, like, in the air. And I like that we were hitting on them a little bit, because you don't usually get to do that.
Yeah.
They're not as like anchored to the concrete words.
It's fun.
I love it.
But did you do yours yet?
I did the mosTEST. Yeah.
Oh, great.
I did that guy, Zach was a vapid.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
sorry.
I even forgot about him.
I know. That's like, the other thing. He's sort of like,
he's pretty forgettable.
Yeah, exactly.
Poor guy.
I know. I feel bad for Iris too.
Tough hang.
Yeah. Okay. So then that means our next one is testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing is about the best production ad or the worst production producer antic. So basically what I like about this one is that, like Game of Roses, it's about like pointing out the things that production has a hand in, even though they pretend like they don't have a hand in things. They pretend it's all natural reality. So what kind of thing did you think was great or bad about the production antics?
I'm going to say this multiple times because I feel strongly. Nick and Alandria, or Alandria. Sorry, which is it?
I've heard both. I think it's Alandria.
Alandria.
So, yeah.
Keeping them was great. That was such a drama-filled episode. It was so intense. And I'll be honest, I was not clocking that they had chemistry.
No.
I looked it up on TikTok today.
Yeah.
Apparently people were.
Yeah.
It was a thing that some people were shipping. I wasn't shipping it. I missed it. Because I think you were focused on her and Ace.
Yeah. Which also is there if you take clips from that.
Yeah. It's like she's a flirty person.
Yeah, figuring people out. Which is the point of it.
Appropriate. Yeah.
And she's mature enough not to blow things up while doing it. You know, she can really like taste test and decide without, because even with Nick, she sort of eases into it once he comes on to her. She's like, okay, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Which is, by the way, the way he looks at her, I was swooning. And clearly production saw something with them that made them think, because they would not have gotten rid of the two of them.
No.
That would have been, they maybe one, but not both.
No, they weren't going to do that.
There's no way.
Yeah.
So they clearly saw something and were like, this might work. We might be able to do something here.
Yeah.
And the way he looks at her, amazing. I'm obsessed with, I have shipped this hard. I think that he could make, or she could make him a much better person.
Fact.
And I'm very endeared by this coupling.
That's great.
And I'm glad that production did it.
Yeah.
I think they did.
They're very orchestrating of it. Totally.
Credit where credit's due.
Totally. Yeah. When he first said, like, I have been interested in you, he like took her hand or something. I was like, whoa.
I know. I was like, are you? Yeah. At first I was like, they're just bullshitting for the show. But then I was like, I don't actually think they are.
There's like real energy
chemistry.
Here. Yeah. Totally. I can see that. I totally get that. I think I love that. I'm going to leave it. I love it because I'm going to come back to that too. I feel a little bit, I'm suspicious of Nick, which I feel bad about, but it's just like how I feel about him.
I do worry partly because he's going to go back to Sierra.
Yeah. I feel like that's a threat. And then also I just feel like because he's in Ace's, like he wants to impress Ace so badly and Ace is playing such a game, like he is gaming. It makes me worried that Nick can't help but like absorb some of that. And I do believe he's been interested in Alondria to like taste test. It feels like taste testing though to me. It doesn't feel like he wants to like develop a longer relationship. But like at the same time I loved that he would tell Taylor what she needed from Taylor. Like he wasn't trying to disrupt her thing with Taylor. I liked that. That's the way to do it. That felt better to me at least.
I think he's trying because he respects both parties.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I worry that it's going to blow up.
Yeah.
I love watching them together. The way he looked at her, I was like,
physical chemistry is there.
Oh yeah. They've got that. And I think they're wondering if there's more. I don't know.
I get that totally. I would wonder if there's more too. And I think they're sort of at different, like her emotional intelligence. I think you're right. She would help elevate him. And he has moments of good emotional intelligence. I just think his ability to communicate around relationships and to like balance his needs with someone else's needs is not quite there. It's not fully developed and hers is. And I feel like that could be bad for her. Like she could be giving more than she's getting a little bit.
Which she might be used to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which already feels like with Taylor, frankly, to me. Yeah. Like she's playing the dates. She even brought that up. She's the one who like brought like a kissing thing.
Taylor sucks. Seeing the way that Alondria and Nick had chemistry versus her and Taylor.
Oh my gosh, night and day.
Fuck Taylor, first of all. I knew that this was going to happen. I knew he didn't like her. It was just so... And he likes this other chick, and that's great. But like have the self-awareness to know when you don't like someone. Because they have -10 chemistry. Yeah. Actually, when they interact, I cringe.
It is really awkward.
Yeah. When Nick and Alondria interact, I was like, damn! So it's just... So it's like, I think I'm happy for her. You're right. I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
Something.
I'll go with you as well. Yeah. Because the like really cynical way to look at it is like, who does Nick have if he doesn't have Alondria? Like, how does he stay? Because he just heard from Alondria that Sierra has someone else.
Yeah.
And then also he knows that Shelley might be moving on. It sounds like everybody sort of like has moved. And so he's sort of like, well, what's my ticket? Because that's what a lot of moves felt like by a lot of them. Like it felt like Ace's sort of like, where's my next move? You know?
Yeah.
Did you hear that people found, people found a video that he made for Shelley for Valentine's Day? Ace did. So remember how we were like, it feels like they know each other more than that. Like, I don't think they just met outside a club. Like, sure enough, he like made a social media video for her for Valentine's Day. So they definitely knew each other well. Yep. Maybe they didn't more than kiss one night, but they definitely were close. So I feel like if he and Shelley had really started together, which they were going to, because she got on his heart, but Ulysses stole him, then they would have done the same thing Jeremiah and Huda did. They would have been like diehard the whole way. So it almost feels like he's jealous of Jeremiah that he was able to do that when he and Shelley weren't able to really match until week or whatever. Yeah.
Shady. He's a shady little shit. Shelley deserves better than him. Honestly.
I know. Yeah. I know. Totally. And I also get like he's charming and has cute dimples and like, you know, like I see a little bit of what she sees in him because she only sees that perspective. Like only, you know, it's like one side of his like hexagonal sides.
Yeah.
You know,
where he's kind of being a little shit. I will say the way that Nick looks at Alondria, and I think he and Sierra have chemistry. I don't think they have that much chemistry.
No, you're right. It's different.
I was like, whoa.
I have to agree with that. It is different. Yeah. There's something with me, like I'm having this like feeling about like white men and black women, like the like fantasizing about and or like in a way that exactly. Yeah.
You're probably on to something.
I just like, because I just don't, Nick's not that aware. You know, it's just like, he's not that aware. So I feel like that could be an element without him realizing it. Because there is something about how he's like, I really just want it. Like, I really want it. Like, it's not like, I don't know. I guess he does a good job of saying like, I want to explore what we have kind of. But there's a part of it where I just feel like it is so hot. That just feels like it's it feels like, how could it not kind of be relevant?
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it probably is.
And like to her credit, like, if that's something she's clocked and is like, let's do it. Like, right? Like, maybe that's also hot for her still. So I don't want to like take that away. It's like to each their own, but
Yeah, if you
It's
got
hard not to
crazy
name it.
chemistry,
Yeah,
you
right?
got crazy chemistry. And
Right.
they do.
They do.
I think.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think he does way more. Like him with Jaden. Like I thought he had no chemistry with her at all.
Who was
Like,
Jaden?
she was the one who chose Austin instead of him.
Oh, right. Yeah, that was tough. They were not.
She was so flat affect.
Yeah. And that made me, I'm like, because when that happened, I was like, do you not like black women or something? And that, because I was like, because he was like, she's not really my type. And I'm like, what do you mean by that?
Wasn't Jaden white? Jaden was the one that was like, that chose Austin over him. Or she might not be. She might be. She looks a little racially ambiguous, but I think she's white.
My apologies.
There's Coco and Clark. Those are the two black women.
Oh, I think Coco. It was Nick. Who Nick was? Nick
originally paired with,
yes,
which was
and
Coco.
He was like, she's not my type, and I'm
my
like,
God.
why
Coco,
not?
Coco's phenomenal. I love Coco.
I actually love her chemistry with Taylor. I'm pissed at Taylor because I think he's been a dick, and I think he's being a dick. I think he thinks he's being transparent.
Oh, right, it was Clark. So Clark started with Nick, and then Clark ended up with Taylor, and they have great chemistry. I totally agree with that. Yeah. And I like Clark too, but I love Coco, who was the one who started with Ace and then moved. Or no, she ended up with Ace.
Oh yeah, she was
with Taylor and then went to Ace. I'm obsessed with her. I love her. She's fantastic. Emotionally intelligent. Also, again, like a nice version of sassy, flirty, very boundaried. I really enjoy her a lot. She's great. Yeah.
The dynamics are dynamicing.
I love it. They did a great job with the cast for Casa, especially again for the women. It seems like they always do that. Like the women that come in are just like great. You know, and like the men are like take some and lose some.
I really feel that way. Yeah. I'm always like, oh, look at these great, hot, wonderful women. And then I'm like, okay,
Yeah. There were a few in there I was like, could do without.
Yeah.
Okay, fabulous. I love that. That's a great one. I like the Alondria Nick dynamic as a good production ad. They did a great job with orchestrating that.
They did.
I didn't like that they did the like boys decide on a boy to go home and girls decide on a girl to go home, because I knew right away that meant that Jeremiah would be out. And I feel like production had to know that. They had to know when they decided Ace, Nick, and Taylor decide who goes home that would mean Jeremiah's going home. It had to. So that felt shitty, because then that's like you were orchestrating him going home, which I think makes sense then why the audience like did the petition to try to get Jeremiah back, because it felt like a betrayal. We're watching them betray him, which production wanted for the drama, and that felt shitty because I didn't need to see that, because we already knew that they were betraying him and sucking in terms of friendship with him. He knew it. He was calling it out finally.
Good for him.
I love it. I love the way he reacted when they were so fake. And he also has said since then in the news, whatever media, that it was betrayal. He called it a betrayal. I'm like, good for him. Yeah. I'm glad he recognizes that and can just call it how it is. I also felt like America has been talking about how they want Austin out since Jump. They're like, as soon as we get an opportunity, we want Austin out because of the MAGA. Yeah. And it's such a liberal audience, and he's a MAGA dude. He also apparently has a cherub with a machine gun or something on a tattoo. Yeah, so there's some things people are right. Yeah. There's some things where people are like, get him out. And so that was interesting because the Jeremiah thing actually protected him. And that means that production protected him, which means they might be protecting someone who's creating drama. A nice arc. Yeah. So they're protecting someone who creates drama. Not here for it. So those are the things I don't like about production. And then the last thing I didn't like about production, so these are all that, is that like that's the other thing I was going to say about Austin. If the girls had voted, I think Austin would have been out. Yeah. And so I think they like that's the other piece of choosing Jeremiah going out. So the last thing I was going to bring up, and then also I just realized Jaden also kept Austin, not Nick. And there was like a close thing right there. Like that could even be influenced by production. So he keeps getting saved. He even says that. He's like, I keep getting nervous and then I'm fine. Yeah, like, that is weird. Experiences. Okay, let's go enjoy some lawn games. Yay! So we have also enjoyed this day with you all, or afternoon, and let me tell you about some things. You can come on to our Patreon.com.
Remember these things.
They're important. And if you're watching the video, you're going to see that they're written up and helping you with it. I'm helping you with it. So patreon.com/realitytest. You can also go in the search bar and search at Reality Test on Patreon. Come and hang out. It's $5 a month. You're definitely get a shout out. Might get a free year of membership. That's it's $260 worth of membership. You know you want it. Then there's also things like our Instagram at Dr. K Pods and at Dr. Ray Pods, and our TikTok at dr.realitv, REALITV. YouTube and Facebook are both Reality Test Pod. YouTube is the at Reality Test Pod for our channel. And last but not least, you can email us at realitycheckpodding, PODDING, @gmail.com. Yes. And don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and to join us on Patreon to get extra really cool stuff. And if you are not in a financial place to do that right now, again, like telling your friends and rating and reviewing are super helpful. So we thank you so much for listening. Yes. Thank you for joining us. And we love you. We'll see you next session. Bye.